now see some familiar faces. I'm going to tell you a little bit about me, the significance of this race, what this department does in a few moments, but I want to share some with you. So right before coming here, I got a couple calls and an email. It says, hey, can you do this press conference with Stacy sometime next week? Because we just discovered, some data that China owns about a third of the farmland in the state of Georgia. And now we're concerned that this is a national security issue because Kemp has been marketing Georgia's farmland to Chinese investors. And we need to stop this. So this is how our government is responding to issues. We don't have a proactive plan to protect us, to protect our property, to protect our food system. It is simply, we'll let the world wreak havoc and we'll respond to it. So really quickly about me, my name is Nakita Hemingway. I am a 5th generation farmer, an entrepreneur, licensed realtor, former corporate executive, wife, mother, and the Democratic nominee for Commissioner of Agriculture. And in 3 weeks, when I win this race, I will be the first African American and the second woman elected to this position in our nation's history. My political journey began 4 years ago when a local county commissioner in Gwinnett stood on my farm and told me I would be better off selling my land to Quick Trip than getting him to remove his restrictions. So when I stepped up to run for office, it wasn't because I wanted to be a politician. It was because I understood the equity in agriculture problem, and I was the most qualified person to solve it. It is our lived experiences that are almost always aligned with our purpose. My grandparents were rice farmers off of the coast of the Savannah River. And for more than 100 years, my family owned 360 acres, and now we own none of it. My grandmother would tell my siblings, cousins, and I how she would sit on her grandparents' porch and watch ships sail out to sea. My journey into adulthood wasn't easy. I was a single mother of 2 long before I was a married mother of 4, and I knew that in order to be the success I wanted to be, like many African Americans, my pathway would be through entrepreneurship. So by day, I worked in corporate America. By night, I built my businesses. And I'm happy to report that I achieved everything I set out to do as Nakita Tyson long before I became Nakita Hemingway. Before we are able to shatter glass ceilings, we must first shatter perceptions about who is qualified and who isn't. It's not enough to say that rising food costs are hurting families when we have a mother on the ballot with a plan to end childhood hunger and lower your grocery bill, so go vote next week. It's not enough to say that there's no equity in agriculture for small family farms, women, and minorities when we have a black female farmer on the ballot, so go vote and take 10 friends with you. When we say we believe in diversity, equity, inclusion, we must always fight for diversity of thought, education, lived experiences, and leadership. Now, this office is the second most powerful office in the state of Georgia, and it's one of the most misunderstood offices, and that is intentional, because this is the wealth of Georgia. 1 in 7 jobs is directly connected to agriculture in the state of Georgia. This industry is a $70 billion industry, but when you guys elect me, I will exponentially grow this so that every farmer in the state can be profitable. In the state of Georgia, there are over 68,000 farmers, and most of them must maintain a 9-to-5 job because they're not able to make a livable wage to support their families in this industry. What sits on the other side of saying yes to me is a 7th-generation farmer. Do the math. That was built on the backs of our people. A 5-term elected state senator. who passed legislation that creates environmental crimes throughout the state of Georgia and disenfranchised even their voter base. This is an insurrectionist that was in Washington, D.C. on January 5th and 6th. This is a man whose family partnered with an African-American farmer in South Georgia so that they could take advantage of the grants that our people have been denied. And then they bankrupt this man and put him in a mental institution. We must always, always stand up and fight. We never must back down. And so we have campaign cards, and I'll make sure that you guys get some of that. But some of my policies include the full legalization of cannabis and hemp, because I know what they don't know, which is it's more than about medicinal purposes. This plant has 25,000 uses, and it has environmental contributions that can change our lives in 4 months. I support helping farmers become more profitable in their businesses by increasing education throughout the state so that 100 years from now, your grandchildren are not telling my story. So we're going to teach farmers how to run their businesses like a Fortune 500 company and build a succession plan to where your land stays within your family for generations and you're building on generational wealth and generational education. And I have a plan to bring equity to this office so that anytime we're fighting for our people, they can never take away those opportunities because the system is working efficiently for everyone. And this is really, really important because you might not hear about this, but this is the truth. Warnock won his race in 2020 with the help of black farmers. He went to D.C. and got money for black farmers. They put it in the Build Back Better plan. And then a group of white farmers sued and said it was racist. And they held it up in the Supreme Court. And then when Biden wrote the Inflation Reduction Act, he rescinded all that money. But the ad commissioner in the state of Georgia is the chief advocate. And the billions of dollars that the USDA has, we can apply for that money and distribute it how we see fit. The Constitution of the state of Georgia gives the ad commissioner that power. So understand that I am committed to one thing: growing this economy, growing opportunity, making sure this department runs efficiently and equitable for everyone. Thank you so much for taking your time to be here with me today, and I love questions, so ask them.
I just want to say thank you for educating us on what the ag department does.